Welcome back, dear friends and students. We have already started with chapter number 8, Human Health and Disease. In this chapter, till now we have finished many aspects of human health and disease, and that includes what is human health, what is disease, what are the different types of disease, and we have discussed some of the infectious disease and their pathogens. Like we have discussed typhoid, pneumonia, common cold, ascariasis, amoebiasis, elephantiasis, malaria, ringworm, and we have also discussed how to protect us against them. Okay, so that we have already discussed it. Now, today we have to learn regarding a most important concept, and this is called as immunity. What we have to learn? Immunity. What is an immunity? Okay, so today we are going to learn the immunity. You know that surrounding to us many pathogens are there, and we are also exposed to these pathogens. But every time we do not suffer from the diseases. Okay, like you might have seen that in your family there are 4, 5, 6 people are there. They are eating the same quality of food. They are exposed to a same kind of facilities, but it may happen that someone might going to suffer from a common cold and the others might not going to suffer. Why this is going to happen? This indicates that we are exposed to a pathogen continuously because in our surrounding lots of pathogens and the causative microorganisms are present, but still every time we do not encounter diseases. Sometimes we also went to a pani puri wala and we have ate this food, that is a street food what you might have ate. But every time you eat this street food, you do not fall under a disease. Why this is going to happen? Because there is something that is present in your body that is protecting you against a disease, and this is called as immunity. This is called as immunity. Clear? So what is an immunity? The immunity is an all-round mechanism that protect your body against the diseases or that protect your body against the foreign pathogens. Okay? And this is called as immunity. Clear? So due to this immunity, we are protected. We are protected. Clear? So this is the immunity. Now how many types of immunity are there? There are two types of immunity. First type, it's called as innate immunity. Okay? And the second one, it's called as acquired immunity. How many types of immunity are there? There are two types of immunity are there. First is called as innate immunity and the second one is called as acquired immunity. Now what is the difference between this innate immunity? The innate immunity, you can also call it as, it's a natural immunity. Okay, it's a natural immunity. Okay, and it is present from birth. It is already present from the birth. Okay, whereas the acquired immunity, that is, it is not present at the time of a birth, but it is acquired or developed after birth. That's why what we are calling it as acquired immunity. It is not present at the time of a birth, but as you grow, as the development of body takes place, this kind of immunity gets acquired. We acquire it or it develops. Okay, and this type of immunity is called as an acquired immunity. So clear? So first thing is the innate immunity that is present from birth, that is by birth. Okay, by birth the immunity present is called as an innate immunity. You can also call it as natural immunity. Acquired immunity, that is not present at the time of birth, but it develops after a birth or it acquires after a birth. That's why we call it as acquired immunity. Clear? See, the innate immunity, if you see the characteristic of innate immunity, the innate immunity is non-specific. It is non-specific. But here the acquired immunity is pathogen specific. Means someone has acquired immunity against a Salmonella typhi, then he is protected from Salmonella typhi but not the other microbe. Clear? Like for an example, rhinovirus. Okay, so that means it indicates that it is a pathogen specific immunity. So this is the second difference which exists between the innate immunity and the acquired immunity. Innate immunity is not characterized by memory cells or memory, but here the acquired immunity, it is characterized by memory. Okay, characterized by memory, that means once the immunity develops, the memory cells of this immunity, it recognize or it memorize which kind of pathogen it is and how to react against such kind of a pathogen. So it is characterized by the memory, but the innate immunity is not characterized by the memory. Okay, there are many types of innate immunity and the natural immunity that we will see, like physical, you can say physiological, or you can say a cytological, and there are many types of innate immunity or the natural immunities. Okay, so this is called as a innate immunity. Okay, and there are also other types of acquired immunity like humoral immunity and the cell mediated immunity. They are the types of acquired immunity. Clear? So these are the two types of immunity, innate and acquired immunity. Okay, so what is the difference? I can repeat, what's the difference between the innate and the acquired immunity? Innate immunity is a natural immunity that is present by birth. From the birth, the immunity that is already exists, this is called as innate immunity. Second one is acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, that means that is developed or acquired after a birth. Second, the innate immunity is non-specific, but the acquired immunity is a pathogen specific. Next, the innate immunity is not characterized by memory cells, meaning it doesn't recognize, that doesn't have an involvement of a memory cells. But here in acquired immunity, there is a recognition or there is a characterization by memory cells because it memorizes which kind of attack it has to do. Okay, so this is all about the innate and acquired immunity. Now let's start the individual type. The first one is called as innate immunity. Now you know the characteristic of this innate immunity. The innate immunity is from birth. It's by birth. Okay, it is a natural immunity that is present, and there are different types of innate immunity are present. The first type of innate immunity is called as physical barrier. Okay, or it's a physical means. What is a physical means? In a physical means, there is a presence of a physical barrier which prevents entry of microorganism in our body. Which prevents entry of microorganisms in our body. This is called as a physical. Like for an example, that our body is covered by a skin. Okay, what is the purpose of the skin? It prevents the entry of microbe in our body. So this skin is acting as a barrier which prevents the entry of microbe inside our body. And this type of immunity, it's called as physical. Like for an example, you can say a skin. Okay, or you can say, I can also give you another example, a presence of mucus. A presence of mucus in respiratory system, like you can say, this is a open. Okay, these nostrils are open, so microbes can enter. When you inhale the air, along with air, the microbes which are present in the air, that is also inhaled. But that doesn't infect you always. Why? Because there is a presence of a mucus inside it, which entrap this microbe, or that entrap the pathogen that is responsible for causing a disease. So that mucus is acting as a barrier, and thus you get protected. So the mucus which is present in respiratory system, or gastrointestinal system or genitourinary system. This is another example of physical barrier. So the another example is the mucus, which is present at different locations like respiratory system, gastrointestinal system and genitourinary system. So this is a physical, first type of innate immunity. The second type of innate immunity is physiological. Okay, the second type is it's a physiological. First is physical, second one is a physiological. What is a physiological? Physiological means a normal functioning. There are certain normal things or functions which happens in our body, and that functions also protects our body against diseases or against pathogens. Such type of immunity is called as physiological. What it is called as physiological. Like for an example, I will give you example so you can better understand. Like you know that the acid present in stomach, this acid is meant for this acid secretion occur. It's a normal physiology. Okay, it's a normal function of a stomach. Okay, that's a secretion of an acid. But this acid actually involves in a digestion process. But apart from that, they also responsible for killing the microbes. In acidic environment, most of the microbes cannot survive, and thus it protects. Okay, so the acid release is a normal physiological function. So acid in stomach, or you can say a saliva in mouth. Saliva in mouth, because this saliva contains an enzyme called as lysozyme. This lysozyme can kill the microbes that is present in your food. Okay, and thus that is also important one. The third one, you can say even the tears from eyes. When the tears flows from your eyes, they also carry out the microbes and the dust particles. So these are the physiological means to protect you against diseases or pathogens like acid in stomach, saliva in mouth and tears from eyes. Okay, so this is two types of innate immunity. Now the third type of innate immunity is cellular. Cellular means there are certain cells which are present in our body and that protect you. Okay, which are the type of cells that protect you? First is called as PMNL, means polymorpho. Remember the name. P means poly, M means morpho, N means nuclear, L means leukocytes. It is a leukocyte, means it is a type of a WBC. Okay, PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Okay, these cells have a capacity to kill the microbe. Even the other cells, like for an example, you can also say that NK cells, means a natural killer cells. Okay, next monocytes. These are the three cells. They are present in the blood and they have a capacity to phagocyte, means engulf the pathogens. Okay, even I will also tell you the cell which is found into a tissue. This is called as macrophage. This is a cell which is found in a tissue. The upper three, PMNL, NK cells and monocytes, they are found in a blood. But this is a cell which is found in a tissue, macrophage. They also has a capacity to phagocyte the foreign material or pathogens or the disease causing microbes. They are engulfed by these cells, macrophages. So here the immunity is due to cells. Which cells? PMNL, a type of WBC, NK cells, natural killer cells, monocytes and macrophages. They provide the immunity. Okay, so this is a third type of innate immunity. Now the fourth and the last type of innate immunity, it's called as a cytokine. Okay, what is a cytokine? Cytokine, that means when a cell of our body or the cell of a tissue gets infected with a virus, that cell releases a protein called as interferon. Which protein they releases? Interferon. When it releases? When a cell gets infected with a virus, it releases a protein called as interferon. What is the function of this interferon? This interferon that is released by the infected cell, they protect the surrounding cells, surrounding non-infected cells from the attack of viruses. So here the immunity is due to a protein, a kind of a cytokine. So this is called as a cytokine mediated immunity. So these are all types of innate immunity: physical, physiological, cellular and cytokine. Okay, so these are the 4 different types of innate immunity. Okay, in physical there is a presence of physical barrier like a skin that is surrounding to our body, prevents the entry of microbe. Mucus that is present in respiratory tract, gastrointestinal tract or genitourinary tract. Physiological means the normal functions in our body that protect against the diseases like acid in stomach, saliva in mouth, tears from eyes. Cellular means there are some cells which are responsible for protecting you, like for example PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocyte, a type of WBC, natural killer cells and monocytes which are present in the blood. They have a capacity to engulf the pathogen. Even the macrophage present in a tissue have the same property. Now the cytokine, that means here the immunity is due to a release of interferon, a type of a protein from infected cells, and that protect the surrounding non-infected cells against the pathogen and viruses. So that's all about the innate immunity. This is a natural immunity. It's present by birth. Okay, it is not developed after birth. These are always present by birth. So it is innate immunity, and it is not specific. It's the skin. The skin is not like that. It allow the entry of some microbes and do not allow the entry of some others. Whatever the microbe it may be, it do not allow. Means it is non-specific. Okay, it is not a pathogen specific. Whereas the acquired immunity is a pathogen specific. Okay, so this is about a innate immunity. Now let's start with the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. Now you know the characteristic of this acquired immunity. They are not present from birth or by birth. They are developed after birth, or they acquired after a birth. That's why what we call it as acquired immunity. It is a pathogen specific, means it has an effect on specific pathogens only, and it is characterized by memory. Okay, it is characterized by memory. I will explain you how it is characterized by a memory. Let's see that suppose a person that is exposed to a pathogen, that means a disease causing microorganism, to a first time, then it produces initial response against this microbe, and this response is called as primary response. Primary response means the response which is produced by immunity against pathogen, okay, and the first response which is produced by it, it's called as a primary response. But if you see the characteristic of this primary response, it is of low intensity. The response which is produced by this, the primary response, it is low. Now assume that if the same person is exposed to that pathogen a second time, so the response which is produced, here the second time exposure, so the response which is produced, that is called as a secondary response. Okay, and this secondary response is of a very high intensity. Clear? So what happens when anyone or any living organism is exposed to a pathogen for the first time? First, a primary response is produced because it's an initial response. But during that one, memory cells of immunity, it recognize that pathogen and it learns how to fight against that pathogen. Okay, but when the second time any living organism is exposed, then now the memory cell has recognized, it has memorized how to fight against it, and so that's why the second time the attack occurs on them. The attack on pathogen is very strong and with a high intensity. Such kind of response is observed in acquired immunity. That means here there is a role of a memory cells. Okay, the memory cell, they will recognize, okay, and they memorize it. So when a second time exposure occurs, the response occurs very intensely and they are killing the pathogens. Okay, so this is a characteristic of acquired immunity. That means it is characterized by the memory cells. Memory cell memorize and then the attack occurs on the pathogen. Okay, next, this acquired immunity is mediated by two types of cells. First type is called as B lymphocytes, and the second one is it's mediated by T lymphocytes. Clear? There are two types of the acquired immunity. Okay, the immunity is due to B lymphocytes and the immunity is due to a T lymphocyte. You know that lymphocyte is a type of a WBC. Okay, so it's a B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. How they act? The B lymphocyte, if it is to a B lymphocyte, how the B lymphocyte works? The B lymphocyte, it produces the proteins. We are calling it as antibody. The proteins which are produced by the B lymphocytes, what we are calling it as an antibody, and this antibody, it has a binding or it binds with antigen, means a foreign material or microbe or pathogen, and protect you against diseases. Okay, so B lymphocyte produces the antibody and this antibody is responsible for protecting your body, but this antibody is responsible for immunity. This is called as acquired immunity. Now in a T lymphocyte as such not able to produce the antibody. They don't produce the antibody, but it stimulate or promote B cell or B lymphocytes to produces the antibody. Okay, T lymphocyte as such does not produce any kind of a antibody, but it promotes a B lymphocyte to produce the antibody. And now you know the function of antibody. Once the antibodies are produced, they have a capacity to bind with an antigen and thus it protect you against the pathogen. Okay, so this is two types of acquired immunity: immunity by B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Immunity which is acquired by B lymphocyte can also be called as, it is also called as immunity which is acquired by B cell. It is also called as humoral mediated immunity, or you can also call it as humoral immunity. Clear? Immunity which is occurred by a B lymphocyte, it's called as humoral immunity, whereas the immunity which is developed by T cell, it's called as cell mediated immunity. What it is called as? Cell mediated immunity. What you also call it as CMI, cell mediated immunity. Okay, so the immunity developed by T lymphocyte is called as cell mediated immunity. Immunity developed by B lymphocyte, that's called as humoral immunity. In B lymphocyte, it directly releases the antibody and you are protected, and in T lymphocyte, they are not able to produce the antibody, but it promotes a B cell to produce the antibody, and thus how the acquired immunity develops. Okay. Now you know that the B lymphocyte produces the antibody. So now we have to see the structure of antibody, how the antibody looks like. So how the antibody looks like? You know that antibody is chemically a protein. The protein which is developed and released by the B lymphocyte. But how it looks like? If you see, then it is like a Y shape. This is a shape usually. Okay. Let's see. This is a shape. So if you see the structure of this antibody, a protein secreted by the B lymphocyte, it consists of 4 arms. How many total arms are there? 4 arms. These 2 are short, okay, and these 2 are longer one, okay. So it contains 2 short chains, 2 short polypeptide chains, and 2 long chains. Okay, this is a short chain, and this is called as long chain. Short chain can also be called as light one, and the long one is also called as heavy one. Okay, clear? This is the structure of antibody. It consists of how many polypeptide chain? It consists of 4 polypeptide chain, 2 short chains, 2 long chains. 2 short chains can also be called as light, 2 long chain can also be called as heavy. So how many short chains are there? There are 2. Okay, and short chain we are calling it as L. So we call it as 2 light chain. And how many heavy chain or long chain are present? 2. So how many heavy chains are present? 2. So 2 heavy chain and 2 light chain, total 4 chains are present. So the structure of this antibody can also be called as H2L2. What it is called as? H2L2. 2 heavy chain, 2 light chain. Okay. This heavy chain and light chain, they are connected by a bond. Which bond is present? The bond which is present is called as disulfide bond. The disulfide bond, same thing present is over here. Like disulfide bond is present between a short chain and long chain. I am just drawing the schematic. Same thing present over here. You can see. This is a disulfide bond which is present. Okay. So the disulfide bond which is present in between them. Okay. That connects these 2 chains. Okay. So this is a structure of. It's a structure of antibody. It's a structure of antibody. This antibody has, this is a site, what you can also call it as antigen binding site. Which one is called as? Antigen binding site. Okay, so it also has a antigen binding site. This is an antigen binding site where the antigen binds, that means a pathogen binds, and that engulf or phagocytes or it kills it. Okay, and thus it protects you against the body. Okay, so this is a type of immunity, what we call it as acquired immunity. You know that this B lymphocytes, they produces this antibody. But how the T lymphocyte works, it promotes the B cells to produces this immunity. And it also has a role in certain organ transplant reactions. Okay, this is CMI, cell mediated immunity, has also role in cell organ transplant. Like you know that when some person, that is suffered from a diseases and their organs, vital organs like kidney, liver, they get damaged. So what is the option? There is one option that liver and kidney that is transplanted from another person. Okay, but can you take this liver and kidney of any animal? No. Can you take the liver and kidney of any other people? No. Before taking this liver and kidney from any other people, you have to check the compatibility, whether it is matching or not. If they are matching, then and then that organ is going to be transplanted. In that, which immunity has a role? CMI, cell-mediated immunity has a role. Even you know that when we are donating a blood, your blood cannot be donated to anyone. If you have A blood group, the A blood group can only be given to A and AB, not a blood group to a B, because it's an incompatibility issue. It's due to a cell-mediated immunity, so that's why. Okay, so here the cell-mediated immunity has also a role in organ transplant reactions. Okay, so in short, today we have discussed the two types of immunity. The first one is called as innate immunity. The second one is called as an acquired immunity, and we have also seen the structure of antibody. Okay, remember the structure of antibody is important one. Okay, so you have to remember all this thing. Okay, next time we will see the other concepts of immunity like active and passive immunity, or you can say immunization and vaccinations, or autoimmunities and allergies, that we will discuss in the next session. Till then, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you once again.